darkness is all around us. It welcomes us. It invites us in. But through the darkness, light has come to expose it. To save us from darkness, so that we may see. Light is love. Light is truth. Light is life. Do you live in the light? Or do you dwell in the dark? Glow where the dark meets the light. This is Growth Group Unplugged.
Greetings. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Growth Group Unplugged for this Tuesday night. We're excited to have you in the virtual space on tonight. We hope, trust, and pray that all is well with you, whoever you are, wherever you are. Go ahead and do us a favor. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the share button. Comment in the comment section. Let us know that you are in on tonight, that you're in this virtual space with us on tonight for Growth Group Unplugged for this first Tuesday of September 2022. We're excited to have you as we are in season 3 of Growth Group Unplugged. We're going to bring the council in and do a brief roll call here momentarily. Un momento. What's up, everybody? Go ahead and unmute yourselves, or let me unmute everybody, and we'll do a quick roll call. What's up, y'all? Happy Tuesday.
What's going on? Happy Tuesday. It's Taylor.
It's Lonnie, y'all. What's good?
What's good?
It's Tran.
Kiana.
We can't hear Sonny for some reason. Let's see if we can get him back.
Yo.
All right, we got you.
All right. It's Sunny, you know.
Sonny from the
Y'all doing tonight?
And we got Miss Webb in the building.
Hey. Hi.
All right, let's go ahead and dive into this, y'all. Y'all had a great week so far?
Yeah. It started, so we good.
Good.
Well,
the girl's officially 28.
Well, of course, Satan is busy every day, but thank God, yeah, able to shake it off,
Yeah. All right, man. Let's get tonight's topic rolling, and see what we're talking about tonight, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
We need some Jeopardy music, man.
There you go. You have it.
All right. What is that?
Yeah. I'm gonna let y'all read that.
Is it
on strength?
Is it on the green?
Strength. Yeah, it's on the green.
Strength. All right, Tran, tell us what that is.
How do we find strength in our humanity?
Awesome. How do we find strength in our humanity? Okay. Man, that's gonna be good. So let's jump in. I got something to say about this one. Yeah. So we're gonna start from the top left, like we always do. Opening remarks. How do we find strength in our humanity? Once again, go ahead and hit that share button, hit that subscribe button, comment in the comment section. Let us know who you are and where you are, even on tonight. Taylor.
Yeah. How do we find strength in humanity?
In our humanity, yes.
Oh God. That's a good question. I think just surrounding yourself with like-minded people, you know, empathy goes a long way, right? Like being able to connect with people and just the simple idea of knowing that like you're not alone in whatever that you're going through, you know, and then to know that somebody else has also gone through it and can help guide you through it. Um, yeah, that's all I got for right now, but more's coming. Did he freeze?
This is my topic, and I can't even think of anything. I think.
Yeah.
Well,
Basically, finding strength in partnership. That basically what you're saying.
yes.
Thank you.
All right, cool. Before we move further, y'all know this Unplugged. So anything might happen on Unplugged. And so since the last time we met, somebody say since the last time.
Since the last
Last
time.
Since the last time we met. One of us has gotten another year older. So because this is Growth Group Unplugged, we want to celebrate our sister, Taylor.
Yeah, Tate. Happy birthday.
Gotta see you, Taylor.
Get it, Tay.
Come on, they gonna pick it up another notch.
Right. Give
Now you're Tay, that's your phone, girl. That was your phone, girl.
Happy birthday.
She was so like her face the entire time was like you just stand here. Like the happy birthday song is such an awkward song. You just have to sit there and take it.
Now, Kiana gave you your instructions earlier. She told you.
And she saw what to do. You so happy birthday.
Yeah, that's why I said, Tay, you both did your wave out, girl.
I wasn't gonna do the two steps.
So she can get
We're gonna give another chance at the end of the show. So you gonna get it in your spirit right now.
You want me to do the little? He's like, yes, I do.
Yeah, because in that song you should have caught the ghost. You should have caught the ghost right.
No, my best friend already ruined the birthday song for me. She was like, "It sounds like a funeral processional." Like not that one. That one was hype.
Yeah, that's gonna be the new Black anthem right there.
Ooh, with y'all. Ooh.
Right. Welcome to Unplugged, ladies and gentlemen.
I love you
guys. Trinity, opening remarks. Finding strength in our humanity.
Understanding and accepting the humility in our humanity. I think that's important. Once we can get past the fact of everyone has that moment of let me be the best, and we think the best is perfect, and that's impossible for us. And so understanding that and walking in our mistakes and growth, it should make us feel more human, and that's okay. It's gonna have to be okay because you can't be anything more than what you are. So,
well spoken.
Get into it.
Well spoken. Lonnie Leon Love.
All right. Good evening, y'all. How y'all doing? All right. This one, okay. I guess without going too Um, I guess deep on the spiritual end, I guess I would say from our opening, I guess God. Well, if we go by the fact, I guess realizing that all humanity came under one Creator. So we do have um humanity that will be out there that we are, yeah, should be able to have somebody to connect with. So, yeah, like I think Taylor had mentioned earlier, the knowing the fact that we we can end up not having to be physically alone on the earth, and partnerships are available to be, to be established, um, would be there. I just, I guess right now, hopefully that we'll just be able to get to seeing the detailed thoughts on where and how the partnerships or how that strength can be found. Because I guess strength can be found in different ways for different. Because I guess that's the diversity of humanity of it all. Finding those different ways of strength. But I guess right now, for my opening remark, I can just say that all humanity, which I know is created by God, so there are those options there to be able to be in a partnership. So I just look forward to seeing where this conversation is going to go, because it is going to be an interesting topic.
Amen. Kiki.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes,
Loud and
ma'am.
clear.
Okay. Say the question again. How do
How
you
do we
find
find
strength
strength in our humanity?
in our humanity?
I guess we can even paraphrase it or subtopic it and say, how do we come into our spirituality in our humanity?
I,
How I
I,
mean,
I
it's
ain't finna
because that's really what we're going where
whatever.
I'm headed with
I don't
it.
know. Whatever
Leave
you
it,
just said confused
leave
me.
it,
I'm just gonna go about the first
yeah.
question.
Leave it
How do
broad and we'll narrow it later.
Copy.
okay, yeah, whatever. How do you
Agreed.
find strength in humanity by being the strength in humanity? If you don't see no niggas out there, be the nigga out there doing something. If you don't see people out there being good, you be the nigga at night. And if everybody is out, if you are being the strength, everybody else is looking at your strength and they picking up on your strength and they getting strong, and then the whole humanity will be strengthened, and then everybody will be doing what they supposed to do. Lord, well, this ain't that hard. Well, it's hard, but it's simple. It's simple. Everybody just do what they supposed to be doing. Then everybody can see what they. If you do not see the strength in humanity, then that either means that you are supposed to be the ones giving it. You ain't giving it, or it ain't there.
Okay. And Sonny.
Okay. Opening remarks. Keep it short. Strength is usually defined or quite often defined in the ability of something to hold in capacity, mentally or spiritually in belief, um, also in a range of intensity and potency. So, how do we find strength in our humanity? Well, the first thing to do is understand that humanity is an expression, or should be an expression, an individual expression of who God is, right? And when we do that, and we find our way, um, pulling from, as Lonnie said, the Creator and His ability to operate through our humanity. That's where the strength lies. Now, how is it? How is it expressed? How is it actually done? That's the beautiful part. The beautiful part is that there's a multifaceted and diverse way that us as an individual, us as a body of Christ, even as a team, as an organization, um, can garner strength, can garner fortitude, can garner force, and not just overcome things, but create things. Humanity has the same, or has a charge to be the same distinct as the very creator in which made them, as we are expressions of them, or as we are pieces of them. Think of it as humanity being a kaleidoscope and God being the center. We all are a reflection and piece of it, and we only find strength when we begin to shine and let thy light shine on another so they can shine. Strength comes with realization of the ability to hold the capacity of God and then move in it. So that's my initial thoughts, and we just gonna go from there.
Okay. All right. Kristen.
I definitely do not want. You said that. My only thing that I can honestly think of with having strength in today's society, definitely an understanding of everyone, a specific purpose to the nation that we're all trying to get to. I feel like a lot of understanding before aspect. So much more into that. It's just what my mind, how I feel about it. So yeah.
Okay. We got a few connection issues. Seems like you guys. Did y'all get her? Could y'all hear her? Okay. Let's try. Let's try to get her back in. All right, Kristen. Let's see if we can hear you a little bit better.
Can you hear me now?
She's just
A
lagging
little
really
bit.
bad.
It's delayed.
It's really delayed. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's jump in. We I think I got a part of what she was saying. She was.
Now where'd he go?
Welcome to season 3, y'all. Season of technical difficulties. We still in it. We still in it.
Hey,
You're not gonna
hey,
claim that though.
All right.
yeah.
All right. Y'all, these connection issues are for the birds. But let's get into this, man. My opening. And I like where Sonny went with it. How do we find strength in our humanity? You know, this is still Bible study, so of course you got to go to the Word of God. When I look at humanity, and I love the angle of your approach, Sonny. I can't help but understand that because I am human, I am created in His image, although I am not Him.
Yes.
Right. Um, and I think that sometimes we forget that we are created in His image, and sometimes we want to take credit for our own strength. Paul wrote it this way. He says in 2 Corinthians 12 verse 10, he says, "This is why for Christ I delight in weakness, in insults, in hardships, in persecutions, and difficulties. For when I am weak, then I am strong." And so I think we can't begin to have this conversation until we first identify how do we find strength in our humanity. We identify our humanity with weakness, and we begin to develop strength in our spirit. Um, I think that may take some time for it to sink in, but I believe we have to begin to identify with our weakness and our limits as a human, and begin to understand that through Him I am strong. That means my spirit man has all of the power. I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me. And so, in order for humanity to begin to understand the true essence of strength, Trent was right on point. Like she started off like dropping bars, and I don't think she even realized what she was saying. That was biblical what you said. Um, that we have to find our strength in our humility. My humiliation, and how many times have we been humiliated, not by choice? We often find ourselves being humiliated not by choice. You fell down. Remember in school, when we used to actually laugh at people when they fell out the chair or when they fell, they tripped over something. You were humiliated, right? You were embarrassed because of uh, your clumsiness in that moment. And I believe that it is when we identify with those weaknesses, beloved, is that we begin to find strength in we begin to emphasize on the things that we are strong at and the things that we are weak at. We began to discover new ways to lessen that and to close that gap between our strengths and our weaknesses. Um, that's my opening. But Second Corinthians 12, verse number 10, I think we can launch from there on tonight.
Okay, I have a question. I guess to start right off, with what you just mentioned in your opening statement, Carlos. Um, I guess to look at, I mean, yeah, you mentioned about weakness, and being able to um, identify. Yeah, make sure I got you right. To identify with our weakness to build humility. I want to make sure I was catching that before I get ready to fully ask that question in your opening statement. Is that
Yeah,
where you were?
yeah, absolutely. To be able to embrace the fact that I'm really not as strong as I think I am.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna say it say it this way. I'm gonna talk from a personal perspective. I remember going through life, like
Hmm.
life. The first time I can remember life actually happening to me. Right?
Hmm.
I had heard other people's horror stories or challenges or struggles, but the first time I actually experienced something that was the hardest thing I had ever faced up until that point, I realized, I grew up in the church. I always said, I would never leave the church. I would always be faithful to God. I would do this. I would do that. And in those trying years of my life, I found myself doing the thing that I said I would never do. I left, not only did I leave ministry for 2 years, I left the church for 2 years. I wanted nothing to do with the church. Right. So it was in those moments of self-reflection. I was like, you know what? I was boasting about how strong I was. And I was given a test that I did not pass. So it was in identifying that I really am not as strong as I think I am that allowed me to become stronger. To know that it's not the power that lied in me, but it's the power that God places within me.
Okay. Okay.
So
So,
embracing that
mhm.
weakness to begin to identify your strength.
Okay. So with that, I guess the question I guess would lead me to ask because so would it be, I guess, where strength starts to build, where someone could be able to say, okay, this is my challenge, or this could end up leading because although I guess I would say I never physically, I would say I didn't lead a church, but I could be like certain folks in my mind with church folks. I know that was some things that I would have been like, I'm done. And what I guess I've learned from there, dealing with those life experiences is that my weakness will come to where certain points build up in my attitude. It will cause me to start to right now, and now I just can't look past it, and I know it will be a shutdown point for me. And I guess is that, would that be something to consider if we're looking at and they're talking about identifying weakness? Would that be
when you
something long?
identify it, and it no longer like holds you. When people say, "Oh, I have a weakness of communication," they think that it like shackles them and they just can't communicate. But when you identify that you can't and you work towards doing the opposite of
Mhm.
when you're communicating, if that's what you're struggling, like you have you're struggling with
Right.
your boiling point with people. When you identify it, it seems like you already identified it and you work towards it, it becomes less of a weakness because the identification of a weakness is strength, period. That's like the
Okay.
first step. So you're
So
technically doing it right now, but working towards it, it will slowly not become a weakness depending on your worth ethic on if that's what you want to change or not. That's what I
let
Well,
me.
think.
that's the mere terminology of weakness. It's the lack of strength.
Mm-hmm,
Like
mm-hmm.
when there's weakness, there is a lack of strength. That means that there in that particular area, that's not a place where, let's look
It's
at
not
it
your
like
strong suit.
let's look at it
Mhm.
like a scale, right?
Exactly. There we go.
Let's look at it like a scale,
Right.
right? When things are balanced, they're even, right? So that's a place of being indifferent, right? It's I'm not great at it. I'm not terrible at it. I'm average, right?
Mhm.
And a lot of people, my God, a lot of people go through life and they're just trying to balance the scale. Here, we always talk about this, man. I gotta find balance in my life. I just gotta find balance. I just gotta find balance. I gotta find balance. I'm all the way over here and I'm not over there at all. I gotta find balance. But is balance what we are really looking for? It should we really desire to be average? Should we really desire to have a average life, a balanced life? Because as a Christian, as a born again believer, I realize, and that's part of the struggle, is that I believe we're trying to live a balanced life because we want to still have our flesh and our spirit, and one has to outweigh the other. Because even John talks about this in Revelation, that if I'm stuck here, I'm lukewarm, right? I need to either be hot or cold, but I cannot be both. And so I think that we try to be balanced, but it's like when we start falling down here and with those weaknesses, then something is elevated here. And oftentimes the things that are elevated are not the things that we really want to be elevated. The things
Okay.
that when we find our weaknesses weighing us down, we become exposed in those weaknesses.
Okay. So that end up being almost, I guess, and just trying to make sure I don't want to redirect the topic too far, but I think you were kind of almost hitting on it. So would this end up being almost a humanity, or which humanity in this case, will we talk about the carnality of our humanity? Or is that kind of going in too deep? I don't want to take us too far if we.
I don't think you're off at all. I think that that's exactly what it is. It's carnality.
Yeah.
We struggle with carnality versus spirituality.
Yes.
Things that are of the flesh. And I just use the elementary term because I don't want to throw people off with biblical terms, but carnality is just simply me living in my flesh.
I was working on
Me
the definition.
desiring the things of the flesh and not of the spirit. But I really think Taylor was on point as well. Y'all came out like knocking them out the park already, because Taylor was talking about partnership. So let's look at humanity. What is human? Now, we didn't say finding strength in in me being a human being, right?
Mhm.
We talked about humanity. That's the human race. We're talking about the collective um association of the human race. So how do I
Correct.
begin to find strength? by being what the Bible tells me the church ought to be. Bear ye one another's burdens, right? Understanding that when I'm strong, then someone else around me is weak. We talk a lot about this. Kiana, I do especially, and we have talked about it. But where are the older women at in the church? What are they? What are the older season? Come here, seasoned saints. How many young adult women have you mentored this year?
Ooh, that's a good one.
I'm getting all in somebody's business right now.
There's a difference between mentoring and judging, okay, and gossiping about and trying to help. Nah. There's a difference.
Before I run too far down that rabbit hole, I gotta say something. Like, go ahead,
Sonny.
So there's a concept, and actually, a songwriter said it in the Christian walk. Less of me, more of you. And so what you have to realize, I want people to understand this. Weakness isn't an indictment that you are never, or you don't have will have the capacity to handle that situation. It is a tag for you at the time to know how to go to who or what can help you. See, the problem happens, it can be a sliding scale, but the issue happens is that things compound whenever we dwell in our weakness and we allow that to be an excuse to slide something that's more carnal, because we're focusing on something more carnal than something more spiritual in our lives, right? The weakness, I love what Trey said about work earlier and having a work ethic, to have the ethic of work happen in your life. What I mean by that is sometimes you have to get all out of God's way. When you're in yourself, you're in God's way. Sometimes you have to understand that a certain situation that keeps easily besetting you is actually the very situation that God's trying to get the glory out of your life, right? And you can turn to humanity. It's funny. You should turn to God for your help, but you should also be able to turn to humanity for the instruments that God has placed around your life to help them use and bolster you, right? Because if it was all supposed to be spooky and wonderful and it's all supposed to be nothing but the Spirit of God moving as a rushing mighty wind behind closed windows and all type of magical, then we would not need each other. But the truth of the matter is, we as people and in humanity oftentimes shallow and wallow in our self-pity about our weakness instead of being available for whom God has put there to help us through it. Prime example, we talking about these elderly women. Sometimes humanity has left us alone in our weakness because they themselves have turned their face away from less of them and more of him.
I would even pre-venture to say that sometimes the older women leave the younger women alone, and the older men leave the young men alone because they were left alone. And nobody is bold enough to break the cycle.
Right.
Ooh, you hitting. Oh, can I ask a question? Oh, can I pose a question right there, Carlos? Because I was like, yeah, because you would, yeah, I was one to pose that right there. And Trinity was up there just hitting on it. Could it be a possibility for a weakness to be where either in the case of what I think Sonny was just getting ready to hit on, where we don't want to is a weakness like older men the what's the name to younger and the older women whatnot. Could it be a weakness to not look at that as a weakness, to not want to pull somebody else in, to not leave them alone? Could that possibly be a weakness, or could that possibly look like a weakness? And could the we're looking over?
I think I got what he's saying.
I get what he's saying.
Could it be a weakness in this for them not wanting to end up pulling it in instead of
it absolutely
help somebody else.
It absolutely is. But let's look at it again where Sonny was saying it's not an indictment on 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 who you are and the totality of your journey. You're not a failure because you're weak,
Right.
right?
Yes.
You don't fail because you're weak. Like
Yes.
we have to get out of the construct that it's about what I do. How about it's just who I am? We are not,
Yes.
we are human beings.
Mhm.
God wants us to just be. He created us to be, not to
Ah.
do. We are human beings, not human doings. Right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
my humanity is the fact that I need to be walking in the purpose in which I was created for, to have dominion. I was created to have power.
Correct. Yes,
He
sir.
created us to be powerful. He didn't create us to be helpless.
Right.
Right? And so when we take that construct and say, oh well, I'm weak, that I have to live, I have to reside here, because this is where you are in the moment. But a journey means I'm still moving. I'm progressing. I don't stop. If I'm in a movement and I stop moving, then I become a museum.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. A mausoleum.
Yeah.
That
Yes,
Come
sir.
on.
part.
A mausoleum. Well, you know, yeah.
So,
But because of that, I gotta speak to what you said earlier
Speak.
about a balanced life. And should we be okay with being average?
Come
I
on.
say no. Balance. Watch this. If you all the scales all the way to one end, if we're talking about a scale, then
Yeah.
yes, it'll be heavy on one side. But if we're talking about completing a work, then the balance would be when that thing is whole. So
Yeah.
we should want to be excellent. What does that mean? I'm beginning to add to my bar every day. I'm weak here. I am at an F here. And God fills in this gap, which allows me to stay within this test, stay within this race. And my job is to take a bit and a piece as he's giving me help to keep with me. Like the Williams brothers said, shake it off and pack it under my feet. And I get a little higher, get a little closer to that goal of completion, that goal of finishing, getting out of bondage, of getting past a place of once into a place of now. The situation that we're talking about with power and humanity, the truth of the matter is we should be spearheading a movement by not allowing ourselves to take residence in our weakness, to take residence in our abyss moments, to sit there and actually get to a place of woe is me and never go to he that's given us the ability to move past. And also the
Talk,
people
son.
in that place, the ecosystem in which we're supposed to reside in has never been a place of what's already attained. He said, I have mansions set up for you. There you shall go. I still gotta go. I still gotta move. The problem with this is there's no strength being shown in humanity because humanity's okay keeping a foot on each other's neck. We're sitting in a situation to where a lot of times instead of getting a place of help and the place, we're in a place of hurt. We're in a gatekeeping place, right? If I see my sister in alt, I see my brother in alt, what should I do? I should go and assist them. I should go correct and help move forward. I'm gonna tell you why. In the church and even in most of our communities, we can break this down to a religion or race. The reason why there hasn't been enough of just completion, enough of manifestation is because there's been opposing forces when humanity is supposed to be of one sound, one band. There's been opposing forces within the ranks, and those forces have been put in place or have been set up in place by mentalities, by spiritual principalities, by our own just malevolent uses of our own livelihood, that we've gotten to a place now to where, first off, we don't even seek who is our help. That's one. We look to who is potentially our hurt or who could potentially be our help and look at them as somebody who's trying to keep us down. Then we don't know how to identify the very instruments and objects in which God does use in order to move you along, or in order to go ahead and start your battery again. I'm here to tell you, I was an athlete for a long time, and we used to do something where we worked out to exhaustion, right? That means you continue to press and you continue to push until your body can't physically move anymore, right? And then what happens? You still got a set to do. So what happens then? Your teammates help you press through that set. They don't do it for you. You still got to go through the motion. You still got to complete the run. You still got to complete the line touch. You still got to get that last lap in. But at that moment in time, those who have more strength, that are set up by the team's lead, our coach, God, comes around and helps you through the finish line. We have lost that community. We've lost that culture. Maybe, truthfully, it hasn't completely been real in our lives. But that's where the strength is.
Yep.
Well, sometimes, Sonny, we don't even think it. We don't really believe it's there.
Nope. We've lost faith in
humanity. We don't even believe that we've lost faith in ourselves.
Yeah.
Right. Because we've forgotten what the fight is. Oh my God. We've forgotten what the fight is, so we fight ourselves. Because we don't even know who we're supposed to be fighting. Y'all go to Ephesians 6, man. So this is where mental health comes in, right? Because if I don't know, I was built, I was created to have dominion, to have authority, to have a power. So if I'm not walking in that which I was created for, I'm lost. And there's something inside of me, innate, that is burning, that is trying to come out, and there's no way to exude it. So what I find myself now doing is I'm trying to channel what's in me, what God created me for, and guess what? It gets, oh my God, we have such a hard time with receiving help, but we don't have a problem with using.
Do we have a problem with receiving, or is it a problem with asking?
Both.
No, we rather use people than to receive help from people. That's the common thread, right? And
I need you to differentiate that for me. You said you rather use people.
Catch it, Taylor. Catch it, please. Catch it.
Than to
just accept the help.
Yeah. So here it is. We have ways in our weakness, in our weak moments, to not allow people to freely help us, but to manipulate people into enabling us and to pacifying us, right? Because what I really need is help, but what I really want is you to tell me it's not that bad, and I want you to pat me on the back for the things that I am doing that's pretty decent, right? I don't want you to necessarily help me, but I want to use you to stroke my ego so that I don't feel bad about this weak moment. So if I don't feel bad about this weak moment, I'm going to always be weak because I'm not going to put in the work to get stronger. All right. Secondly,
he said, "Wait, we gotta let that sit in for trend. We gotta let it soak.
Yeah,
gotta let it soak.
Electricity. You got some electricity into you, huh?
Can I say the next part? Can I say the next part?
Good to go, brother.
So the next part is this. Doggone, I just forgot it. No, I didn't.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
The next part is this. When there's something, it's like what Jeremiah said. It's like a fire shut up in my bones. Like it's something that I can't do anything. So it's like this. When you give a child with ADD instructions to be still.
Yeah.
That child will do everything in their power to be still. But you're going to see it like channeled energy bottled up. It's like you can see all the energy. And when I say, Caden, be still, Caden, stop moving. Like he just be just going. And I'm like, stop. And then he's like,
right, shaking, like you try so hard. Oh, you trying with every inch of your.
He's trying to keep it in. He's trying to bottle it. So watch this. What happens with the power that God placed in us as human beings when you are in a powerless atmosphere or in a powerless environment, a powerless community, a powerless family who doesn't identify and understand the calling that is on our lives? So guess what? The devil uses that energy. Because let me help you this way. When I tell Caden to stop moving, guess what? When I'm not around, he'll find somebody else that will need help doing something, and he will ask, "Do you need help?"
Because I need.
So he can watch it. The manipulation. It's the manipulation. So that he can move again, but he can justify why he's moving after I told him to be still. Y'all don't miss this.
Come on.
Ephesians 6:12. It tells us, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness in this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Y'all come here. There is a such thing as spiritual wickedness. That's why he says, take on the whole armor of God that you may withstand in the evil day, and having done all to stand. What I'm trying to tell you on tonight is that when we don't identify with our strength through Christ, we will always be weak in everything else in the world, because truth be told, the enemy don't want us to know that we have power. So he tries to keep us in a powerless environment. And what happens in that powerless environment, that energy is redirected for the things that are not good. That's why the old folks used to say it like this: an idle mind is the devil's
playground. Workshop, my bad.
I was thinking about like the base of humanity, which I thought of humane, right? And the first thing I thought about, that's mercy. How are we not? How am I not mercy to you? And we're like, dude, like that's the base of what we are as a being, not a doer. As a human being, is being merciful, compassionate, brotherly love. And when we have people who lose faith in that the spirit, what do you say, the spiritual, I'm saying spiritual pushback, because I can't remember the word, that we experience in our humanity is when we get those, I don't believe in humor based off of ABC 1, 2, 3, whatever. This person hurt me in 2001, whatever. When we get those people who truly don't believe in humankind, that is exactly the perfect reading place for the enemy to just dance right on and tap dance away our humanity.
Keep them right in that spot.
Keep them right there. Keep them in the same mindset. But it's up to us, people who actually believe in being merciful towards each other, because I know that we are the exact same. We're not personality-wise, whatever. Base-wise, inner-wise, we are the same. You are my brother. You are my sister. When we can get to that point, I feel like tapping into that superpower, just that one. We're not talking about the individual superpowers, but just the one that all got when we were created. It's an innate superpower that it doesn't get a lot of.
You're absolutely, you're onto something, because I mean, truth be told, Paul said it before, we all have sinned to come short of the glory of God, right?
Yeah.
We all are sinners. You know what the church is supposed to be? It's supposed to be full of sinners who have been reconciled to God.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a strength there's an undertone of strength, right? Because we all used to be something. And so it's like when you go to AA, right? It's they come together and they admit that they are this, and they're going to help one another get to this. It is a sad day when there's more help at AA than there is in the church.
Yep. Yeah. What may we start keep on crying right now until hopefully we be encouraged by this. I was just watching last night, and it was I don't know, yeah, with Kiara Shear Kelly. I was watching on her, and know what her and her family and the proud members of Kojic. But I was watching on her channel. She was talking about the safe spaces, and I was like, I read as much as I read Romans 15:7. She ran through and mentioned that scripture about us accepting one another, um, as God has accepted us. And I think we all been up here mentioning this point, but it's like really to the point where how can we challenge one another to be more receptive to being like, oh yeah, we are, I've seen, I'm going through this, as I'm going through this and this, even though I may not be going exactly what you're going through, but I can work with you, I can accept you. And like right now we got a whole denominations are pulling it in there on that, and right now we are letting God, we are letting Satan elude us into thinking that, okay, looking at 5 acts of worship. And I was hearing all the sermons over this past summer. 5 acts of worship being more important. If you ain't doing that, or you not physically being at a building, versus right now your spirituality is outweighing the cardinality, and we're trying to be more what God would have us to be. And that verse had hit a whole lot for me. So y'all, let's what can we do to challenge more of each other?
Okay.
Like right now. Mhm.
Can y'all
Yeah, go ahead,
hear me?
Chris. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Personally, being left with this, I feel like a lot by not go with this. You know how you tend to personalize everything in a way. And that goes for like something as well, because we all have seen and I feel like a lot of people in church try to one sin when it's not sin is sin. I feel like I'm going in left field. My brain is just
Hey, we
working
we
over.
we having some connection issues still with you. Try going out and come back in. Go out and come back in for me. Thank you. All right, we'll bring Kiki back in.
I have a confession, and now like going through this, I realize that I've been doing therapy wrong. So there's a saying that's been going around that's saying, "Not my circus, not my monkeys," right? And y'all have heard me say it a lot. Not my circus, not my monkeys. Not my circus, not my monkeys. And in some cases, yes, right? In some cases, yes, because that's not your burden to bear. But in most cases, and I'm just thinking of one client specifically, no. you're a part of that circus. Like, and it's okay. Like, if your responsibility is the elephants, cool. But if you also see that these monkeys need to get put back together, help. And there's nothing wrong with that, you know? Like, don't just see a situation and ignore it, you know? Like, one of my favorite like kid movies, Robots, is you see a need, fill a need, right? If somebody's like, hey, you know, like if you see somebody struggling, what is the struggle with just slightly stepping out of your way and saying, hey, you good? You know,
Is it that
like
is it that hard to do?
is it that hard?
Considering it's
Is
not
that hard to just
your business,
pivot?
but that's my human. It's my other human. One of the other humans with me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I say
I don't know.
I say it all the time. It's simple, but it ain't easy.
Mm.
It's simple, but it's not easy. I mean, it's easy to want to do everything I can to save my own butt, but when it's someone else's butt on the line, I might find every another reason I can,
right,
to be too busy, too backed up, a little too unconcerned to do it.
right.
And the irony of that is we often show ourselves weak every time we do that. We're weak when we can't operate. And it's not even, you know, I won't even call it hive-mindedly, because we don't have to do the exact same thing, but that's the point of humanity and the individualisticness of it. Because I don't operate exactly like you do, but within my capacity, I have this intensity, or I have this fortitude that I can lend to you for a moment. It may look different than what you are used to getting, and honestly, it's probably going to be a good remedy for where you're trying to go. And if you allow me to give you this, and if I find it in my heart to be that person to give it to you, then we'll start to see. We'll start to see the power in it. I mean, come on, let's just be real. Let's be bluntly honest with ourselves. How many of us, besides making adjustments whenever there's something to be gained for helping someone else, how many of us really go that extra step for the person that's a little down on their luck? I'm not talking about the habitual person who's constantly being in need, or quote unquote constantly living average life, constantly just trying to get by, constantly leaning towards the carnal and not thinking anything about the spiritual. Not those folks. Not those. I'm talking about the ones you find on your way while you're on the journey that happen to run out of a little gas. I know what I have to do. I know what's on my heart to do. Why? Because my heart's more in tune with God. Because why? I spend some time with him and I allow him to help me. And he tells me what? Be more like me. I made you. Why not be a reflection of your father?
I mean, but
I find. Go ahead.
But that's why it's not easy. That's why it's not simple. That's why it's hard. Like, it's hard to your clothes, to go over there and wash somebody else's clothes. That's why there's humanity. Because it's easy for us to just worry about what, like Taylor. The thing is that we're supposed to be pulling strength from God. We're supposed to be pulling that strength source. It's not easy. It's not simple. It's not whatever synonym you want to go for. It's not none of that. Because if it was that easy, then it wouldn't take so much of God for us to get it right.
I disagree, and I'm gonna tell you why.
All right, so let's hold that thought. We are 3 minutes on the other side of the second hour. So coming back from the second hour, we're gonna let Sonny tell us why he disagreed with that. Thank y'all for watching. Growth Group Unplugged. Y'all stay tuned. Y'all hit the share button. We'll be right back. What's up, everybody? Carlos D here. Listen, I'm excited that you are here tonight for Growth Group Unplugged. We are in season 3, and it's going to be an amazing season. And we hope, the council hope, that you're going to be here for each and every last one of these vital discussions that we're going to have. We'll be here every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. We want you to be in this place. And you can tag somebody on Facebook and tell them if they're not at Growth Group Unplugged, they are nowhere. Be here every Tuesday. Listen, if you're on Facebook, go ahead and hit the like button and the comment section. Let us know that you're here. Tag somebody, like us, share us, do all of the above. If you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button and the bell to get notifications. If you are on Instagram and Twitter, do the same thing. Hit the follow button and click your notifications so that you'll know when New Heights is on deck. Also, if you're on the Mississippi Gulf Coast, we want to see you. We want you to become a part of the New Heights family. We want you to join us every Sunday, whether it be virtual, whether it be in person, for Sunday service by the New Heights Church. We want to see you at 648 Beach Boulevard, Biloxi, Mississippi, every Sunday. Or we want to see you in Zoom, in the virtual space. That's right, the hybrid space of New Heights. Go ahead and click the link tree in our bio and click Watch Service Live Now every Tuesday at 7 and every Sunday at 10 a.m. Central Time Zone. We can't wait to see you in the place or in the space. Let's get back to this edition of Growth Group Unplugged.
Budget.
We love a good commercial break.
I love that commercial break. I ain't gonna lie to you.
So
Shameless plug is the best way to go with this. Anyway.
Welcome back, Emily.
So,
All right.
I was like, what happened?
Welcome back, everybody.
Connection issue, man.
yeah, can you
Two.
I'm sorry. I was all in the middle of that. Welcome back, guys. Hour number 2. Rephrase that statement for me real quick because I want to address it properly.
Jesus, long super. I say, I said it's not gonna be easy. It's not easy. It's not sending you want to give it to, because if it was easy, we wouldn't need to get our strength from to make it easy.
Okay. I heard what you said. I said that it wasn't necessarily easy. Easy is something that's already made and done for you, right? Simple means that it's put in a way that anybody can attain it with a little bit of work. I do believe, and with the life of me as a faith-led believer, I have to believe that this is something that can be attained by us who were mandated to do this very work. It has to be attainable for us to be able to find strength in one another through Jesus Christ. It has to be attainable for us to be able to come together and work as a unit, knocking down principalities and overcoming obstacles. It has to be attainable for us to actually get to the core of who we are, the things that we know we do to help ourselves, and do the same thing for another. Because if that's the case, if you're telling me that it is something that is hard to attain, that is something that is an advanced type of thing, then you're telling me that there are a multitude of people that are automatically excommunicated from the ability of becoming better than who they are and coming out of something and being a representation of what God is on this earth. So you're telling me that somebody that doesn't have the capacity to move as creative as I do right now, but does have the ability to at least read, write, understand what it is to help another person, have the ability outside themselves to give a little bit of themselves, those people, just because they're not creative enough or just because they're not as thoughtful enough, they can't move forward or they can't help another move forward. I disagree.
What? How did you get
What do you mean?
I didn't mean all of what
What did you mean?
said.
What did you mean?
All what you said that ain't what I said. That ain't what I mean.
That is not what I said.
Just because I said that this was something that was not mean that everybody can't have it. I mean, it's not easy to be rich. I'm not saying that people that have not processed. I'll say that people that have not got, just because you have not gone through the process, you cannot be able to be strong enough to go through the process. That's what I'm saying. Going through the process is not easy. Going through the process is not simple. Even though you saying that going through a linear way of doing things, that's what I don't know if I'm putting words in your mouth now. That there's a simple way. From what I remember, you were saying like simple, and it is laid out for everybody to achieve, and this is what everybody can do because it's simple. In a way, yes, but in a way, no. Like it is like simple, but it's not going to be simple. The answer is
the work isn't simple.
Be simple.
I disagree. I disagree. I disagree, man. I was trying to be quiet, but I disagree.
Okay,
listen.
Please.
So I'm gonna go back to your premise. I'm gonna use what you just said. Well, about 2 minutes ago. But you said it's not easy to be rich. It's so easy to be rich.
Yes.
It is simple and easy to be rich. The problem is the majority of people aren't disciplined enough to become rich, because guess what? Success leaves clues. Success leaves clues. The problem is not the problem is not the process. The problem is our discipline. We don't want to do. That's why we read books. That's why we read these self-help books, because somebody's already done it before, and success does leave clues. It's simple. Now let me say this. Let me say this part. Let me say what's not simple. What's not easy. What's not simple and easy is to create a new lane that has not been created before.
That's real.
That's what's not simple and easy. But something that has been done before, it's right there before us. We just have to take up the mantle and follow that footprint, because it's going to lead to the same place. Now let's be real. Now let's be 100. Let's be two people, right? Let's be frank and honest, right? Everybody's not going to get on the journey in the same place.
No.
Right.
So some people are going to have a longer journey to get to that place.
Right. But it doesn't mean that it's unachievable.
But it doesn't mean it's difficult. Doesn't mean it's difficult.
Doesn't mean it's difficult.
Yes.
So
I agree as well. Or worse. I agree. I am saying.
I'll be agreeing
again. I agree with what both of y'all are saying. I'm saying that anywhere in this process, it's not going to be easy. Point A, point B, point C, point D. I'm just saying that as simplistic as people try to make it seem, because it is simple, but at certain points, the strength from the Almighty above. That is all I'm saying.
Can I give everybody a key to unlock this? And I'm talking to myself too. It could all be so simple.
It could all be so simple.
Yeah.
But you know why? You know why it isn't? It goes
because
back
you'd rather make it hard.
It goes back to the simple truth.
The carnality.
It goes back to that part. It goes back to the carnality, but it also goes back to not allowing people to help us. Remember the talk we had? Remember the talk we had a couple weeks ago, or maybe a couple days ago? Last week. Remember the talk we had last week?
That's pride, though.
Remember we was talking about leadership and how leadership models have to change based on the people that you're leading, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you and I, yes, this was last Saturday we had this talk, right? Remember I told you about TD Jakes. TD Jakes was
Tuesday.
me and Kiana. We talked about this last Saturday. He identified years ago areas that he wasn't as strong in and proficient in. And so one of the keys to his success, he says that he began to surround himself with people who were stronger and better at the things that he wasn't good at.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And so that is a nugget for anybody. That you know what that's called? That's called community. You know what that's called?
Yeah.
That's called believers. That's called church. We are supposed to be those who are able to walk together, even though we are all different. We are all have different gifts, different personalities, but we are all, like Trinity said, we are all sinners. We're all the same. So guess what? Because we're all the same, I ought to be helping you achieve those things that God has placed in your life. You ought to be helping me achieve those things that God has placed in my life. And together, there's strength in numbers. It's strength in numbers.
Strength in numbers.
Right? Paul said, "Is when I am weak, then I am strong." But what was he talking about before that? He was talking, man. Let me give somebody the breakthrough right here. It was when Paul was identifying at his lowest point, his weakest moments, that he could feel God the most.
Come on.
Wow.
That's heavy.
It's when he was at his weakest moment that he could feel God the most. Now, let me help somebody right here. There's a young lady who committed suicide today in Jackson. She was an influencer. Hundreds of thousands of followers on social media. Let me tell you something. When you are at your lowest point, you either gonna feel God or you gonna feel the enemy. He wants you to not believe that there's hope. But we're going when you're at your weakest moment, when I've been stripped of everything, I'm going to feel my God the most. Whoever my God is, that's what I'm going to feel the most. Now, if my God is money, when I'm at my lowest point, I'm going to hurt the most if I'm broke. If my God is success and jobs and careers and all of this stuff, when I'm stripped of it, I feel like I have nothing left. But let me tell you something about a child of God. When I am stripped of everything, I still got God. And if you are my brother and sister in Christ, when I'm stripped of everything, I still got you.
That's it. That's it.
Thank you.
Matter of fact, when I come on.
Wait, before you do a dissertation. Before you do a dissertation. That's not what they have.
Oh,
it was coming.
It was coming.
Because I felt it. It was going to be a neat intro. The body was going to be
get off my boy head like that. Get off my boy head.
The evidence was going to be nuts. I just knew it was going to be a fire dissertation. But just hold on. Don't submit it yet.
Go ahead.
I just thought about when I'm at work, there's a puzzle that kids like to do, right? And so you can't finish the puzzle unless you put all the pieces together, right? And the kids are so happy when they can find what piece works with another piece, and that piece works with two other more pieces, and you can complete the whole thing. When there are three pieces missing, it is the saddest day for those kids. When I think of three pieces, I think of three people, or maybe a few people who just remove themselves out of the equation. I don't know. Just an analogy. A puzzle piece isn't complete unless you have all of the working parts to it. Not every piece is going to work with the next piece, but it's one. It's one or two or four that automatically does, depending on how big the puzzle piece is. There's always going to be something attached to one piece. It's never by itself. It's never out of place. How dare you? But that's what I was just thinking about. Everyone, you're always going to have at least one, whether it's him or one other person there, regardless. You're never actually by yourself in our humanity, ever. I'm done.
And it's like it's a link, right? Because if you finish the complete puzzle, but then notice that in the middle that there's that one piece that's missing, it's like you said, it's connected to like four other pieces. It's not just that one piece, you know?
It's not the puzzle, it's not the picture that's on the box without that one piece.
That's that whole community thing, you know?
It's not the
So when the puzzle pieces are put together, the link is formed. There's revelation that comes.
Yeah.
But there's revelation that can't be had if people never come together and link.
Nope. It's not a puzzle if all the pieces are just in the box.
There's so many answers out there that we have questions to.
But because
we won't come together,
come on.
They still haven't been okay.
They still haven't been answered.
Come on. Let's go deeper with that. I got chemistry lesson for you. Even you without being bonded to another cell. And the stronger the bond, the covalent bond, there's more attachments to it. H2O. It takes two oxygen to bond together with a hydrogen in order to make water, which is life.
And he said he never used that chemistry major. Look at that.
Come on. I was a physics major. I'm just very adept in all sciences. The truth of the matter is we go against our own DNA out here in life. We're supposed to be acting as if we are ourselves, right? And in ourselves, we have DNA. I'm not gonna say the words, but what is that? That's a double helix that's connected to itself and wound up in such a way that makes us our own identity and gives us our own code of strengths, weaknesses, personalities, X, Y, and Z. When you look at it inside, on the outside, we live the complete opposite. And it's funny because if we have a representation of life for ourselves inside that we can break down scientifically, and then God shows us a representation of what he is trying to amass in kingdom, which we do spiritually, and all them say bond together one to another in order for us to make something stable, steady, and worth everybody's while. We, as a carnal being, find ourselves doing the opposite. I can't tell you how many times, and I almost did this a couple times. When I was younger, I did this a lot. When I needed help the most, I went to the shadows. Like something in there was gonna really do something for me. Irony is, yeah, God was there, but I wasn't seeking him. I was seeking to get away from a circumstance when I should have been running to the problem so people can see it, help me identify it, and then give me what I need to fix it, solve it. Matter of fact, you know when your dreams come true, and here's why it's easy to become, in some way, it's simple to become wealthy. You see a problem, then you fix a problem, and you present it to people so they can solve it for you. That is as simple as. And the problem that we have on earth is that we ain't been coming together. There hasn't been unity. There hasn't been any bonding. The problem in a lot of relationships is because there's no true bonding.
There's no faith in it.
I'm glad you said that.
Because there's sin present. Sin clouds our faith.
I'm glad you said that. That's go ahead. Oh my God. Okay, I'm gonna say it. I don't even care.
Say it with your chest.
I'm about to. I'm about to.
Bird chest.
I'm really trying to stay. I don't want to go in the swear jar. But if we be real with ourselves, I'm gonna use the word macaroni bag. We're macaroni bag, right? Because we won't even do what we see babies do on a daily. In our infancy, we were more fit to be adults than we are as adults. We didn't, and it's funny. At that time, we didn't even know sin like talking about. Thanks, Carlos. We ain't even know sin like talking about. In our adult, we revel in it. We run to it. It's the new fad. It's what's valuable. Funny enough, we put that in place of our own health, right? It's dangerous, really, to continue to do things that are to be tactful, harmful, loose, of a high validity. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's so crazy, in fact, that we believe, us in the Christian body, believe it was all right to adopt a lot of those actions and the spirit thereof in our operations, even in service. Well, don't get me wrong.
We brought it to the church.
No, I mean, we are the church. Remember, Taylor? We just brought it with us in the building. And we okayed it.
Oh, it was attached to us when we came.
Ooh. Bringing up that spiritual warfare right there, ain't you? Oh, man.
It goes back to what I said earlier. A lot of us don't even know what most of the people don't even know they in a fight. We just live it. We don't even know we're in a fight. You don't even people walk around in so much pain, Sonny, and don't realize you in a fight. You getting your head whooped on.
Man.
Like you've been taking blows from you. You wake up in the morning and feel like you got hit by a truck. You wrestling with something.
Wow.
And it ain't physical. Watch this. What happens spiritual is manifested in the physical. Oh, God.
Spiritual than natural. Yeah.
Shut up. Shut up.
We're spiritual beings having a natural experience. I know y'all love the song.
Listen, the next time you know you rested well last night and you still wake up and you feel like you got hit by you better go to prayer. You better go into prayer because something is on you, something is attached to you, and the only way to get this thing out, get that monkey off your back, so you don't catch that monkeypox, is you need to. It just fit, right? It just fit. I'm sorry, it just fit.
It did. No.
The only way to get that monkey off your back is to stop hanging around in the circus.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Oh, it is not my circus.
The army we have surrounding us. Some people don't have the opportunity to have an army. So like, those are like everyone needs an army. But imagine not even having one person to walk with you after
I
what you
feel
just
like
said.
everybody has somebody, whether they know it, whether they are tapped
Or
into it or
accepted or
not, you know?
Thank
Like,
you.
yeah, because I'll have clients, and that's, you get into therapy, you realize like that's the strength-based perspective. Like, who is the one person that, even though you're like, oh, I don't want to bother them. No. That's not the question. Who's the one person where you can be like, okay, who can I, like, they call me. Even if you don't call them, they call you and just say, hey, you know, or even if they're asking you for a favor, like, what's the struggle in trying to reciprocate that, right? Because a lot of people will be like, well, everybody calls on me, but I have no one to call on. Have you ever tried to reciprocate? Like, hey, like, I need help, and asking for help,
That's
you know?
stepping out of yourself.
It is. It is. And you
That's
have to
getting
get
out
out
of
of
that
yourself.
whole mindset of I don't need anyone, but I could be for everybody else. You are
That's not
still
how
a
that
human
works.
being, and you still need somebody.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
you always
operate in that.
whether you acknowledge it or not, if you do, but
I that makes a lot of sense.
I would
Can
like,
we
can I
shift,
get,
can we shift a little bit?
Say that again?
yeah,
Can we shift a little bit? Finding strength in our humanity. Let's shift a little bit. We've talked about the spiritual warfare side. We've talked about the humility side. Let's talk about the responsibility side. Um, let's talk about being responsible to 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 the human race. Um, because something y'all just said something right there, and y'all just kept talking, and I heard this underneath what you all said. Everybody has somebody, right? The challenge is for the strong person is that we depend on the dependency of other people. Um, we
elaborate?
depend. Stop hitting
red
me.
light, red light.
Red light. No, that, wow.
Green light.
Because it
We
makes us feel something.
we depend on dependency of other people. So if I am ever put into a place where I'm now becoming dependent, then the thing that gives me life will now be the thing that takes life, because I'm so used to pouring from an empty vessel. But as long as I still have a cup, people can't see what's in it. All I got to do is keep it right side up, and you can't see if there's anything still in the cup. And so a lot of times we fake it
Until we make it. Until we
um
break.
until we break it, right? Um and so the responsibility to humanity is to first take care of yourself. There needs to be a time, because see there's a there's a time where, because y'all struck a chord when y'all said, somebody no sometimes people don't have nobody. Well, we always have people. We always make a choice whether we're going to allow them to have access to us. There are times that I need to talk to somebody, but in the times that I need to talk to somebody, most of the time I don't answer my phone, I don't answer my text messages, and I don't call anybody because I don't want to be bothered. Sometimes I want to be left to my thoughts. Um, but sometimes the thoughts that I'm left to
are not the
are not the thoughts that I should be left to.
Dang.
Worst ones.
So I remember the psalmist saying like this, that I will put your word, I will write your word on my heart, right? So he said I will meditate on it day and night. So when I'm left to those thoughts that shouldn't be my thoughts, then the Spirit of God has room to speak to me because I have written His word in my heart. Does that make sense? So
Absolutely.
I said all that to say this.
I feel
Sometimes, in order for us to be good for humanity, we have to be good to ourselves. For us to be good to humanity, to have something to give to humanity, sometimes we have to refill our cup. Sometimes we need self-care moments to where we unplug and we allow God. Let me do it this way, and then I'm done because I'm talking in circles.
You're talking to the right one. You're talking to the right one.
Listen to this, and I hope somebody hears me, and I'm talking to myself in the moment. The next time I'm empty, the next time I'm empty, the next time I'm drained, the next time I feel like I am overwhelmed, this is what you need to do. You need to go to the place that God created you and placed you in. God created nature for us. He placed us in a garden. There's life in the garden. What am I trying to tell you? Sometimes you need to take a walk on the beach. Sometimes you need to go hiking. Sometimes we need to just really unplug from what we've created humanity to be and be around what God created humanity to be. Does that make sense? It's so much in it I want to flush out. I just don't know how to flush it out right now. I don't know what to say.
You need a red light.
Literally, you spoke volumes. Like, and it's been insane because this past month I've been trying to figure out what's wrong. You know, like I can't get this like off. It's something here, and I just need to get it off. But yeah, like I think coming from a therapy job, quitting that job, and then not doing anything in the in between, not feeling dependent. You know, like as a therapist, you have people who are depending on you, right? And then not having that dependency,
being left to your own devices,
has messed up my, you know, like I have nothing to pour into anymore. There was nothing for me to pour, but it was like I knew I could pour something, right? And not being able to do that, like I've been left to my own devices. And even last night, I'd had to like sit and just journal. I journaled for like 2 hours to like just get all of it out, you know. But my brain has literally still just been spinning in like this cycle of.
Can I give you a prophetic word?
Yeah.
People like us, whether you're in ministry, whether you are in psychology, whether you're a therapist, a doctor, people who serve people, if we are not really intentional about our relationship with God, the spirits of other people will attach themselves to us. And we'll be walking around wondering, why do I have this headache today? Why do I have this pain in my chest, right? It's because again, we don't know who we fighting. And we're going to the doctor trying to get the doctor to give us a prognosis and the blood tests are perfect. The all of the tests they run are perfect. They say you're in good health, and they tell you what? It's psychological. It's in the mind. No, it ain't. It's spiritual.
Mm.
I decree and declare this night that we stop looking for physical solutions to spiritual problems.
Amen.
It's spiritual, Taylor. It's
Yeah.
spiritual.
It's
Yeah.
it's a call to be grounded, rooted,
Say it,
right?
sir.
Cause it's oily now. It's really a call for those who continue to operate in positivity and truly just intercede for another soul
Mm.
to make sure that they have not just been plugged into a battery, but also washed and re-cleansed. The problem with it is you as a towel going and mopping up a mess for somebody else
Leaves you stained.
leaves you stained. And you
Ugh.
can wring you out all day, but the residue, the imprint, the excess uh, is still there.
Wear and tear.
Absolutely, it's even more than wear and tear because that's not your wear. Mm. That has nothing to do with you. Wear and tear is the work that you do. What you have done now has stepped in and become more of a deterrent, a crash dummy for someone else's soul, and you haven't gone and gotten repaired. Um, I'm reminded and I'm sorry, Lonnie, I want to let you go, but I'm reminded of spiritual warfare is just something that God has a big weight on me with. But I'm reminded of the old commercials, the crash dummy commercials, where you're put into a car and they're driving and they're testing the safety of the vehicle. Now, the safety of the vehicle, dummy that's in the car, that has no life.
Oh God.
The safety is being tested for those who will later on actually get this particular vehicle to use in their life in a positive way, right? But if you liken yourself to that dummy, whenever you start to intercede, whenever you start to intercept, whenever you start to go and give up your value, your virtue, you start to tarry, you start to work, you actually start to live a life of supplication and sacrifice for it. Because you do what you're doing. If you don't take the time to get grounded again, if you don't take the time to go back to the ground and get tuned up again, if you don't go and have somebody else create a safety and a 5-point inspection over your life, eventually you'll be just like the dummy, full of weight,
Ooh.
no soul.
Thrown around
Yeah,
in something. Yeah, thrown around in something that wasn't even built for you.
wasn't even
Oh
built
my
for you.
God. Oh my God.
Go ahead, Kristen. I want to let you go because son, I want to see a hit on that like to a dummy point. Kristen, go ahead,
No,
see.
y'all, I just had a revelation. This is something I've been going through this week silently. When it was, I've been seeing it in my dreams. God gives me this dream. Ground yourself because trying to sleep this week alone. I woke up. This whole podcast right now is for me. I feel it because when I went to sleep, I woke up and I just felt like something was wrong. I didn't even know what was going on with me. I prayed until I fell asleep. And when I fell asleep, it came in a dream again. It's not, it's God. That was confirmation. And that's God telling me again, get it together. Like,
Help yourself. I've been pouring into so many people, and y'all right now, everything that y'all are saying in this podcast right now, y'all helping it.
Hmm.
I just need to say that help right now because the outside isn't. So to hear right now, and it just it's almost bringing tears to my eyes because I had a hard this just listening to you guys, and then him confirming me and grounding. I know it's okay. I know it's all right. So yeah, thank y'all. That's all I had to say.
Sonny, oh, you muted me, Carlos. I'm muted.
You're not muted.
Oh, okay.
We can
All right.
hear you.
So, yes. So, Sonny, you just mentioned about the likeness unto the crash dummy, and I was like, that just ended up taking my mind to a whole different point that I was going to mention earlier. And Carlos, you already were hitting on Ephesians 6. Yeah, because I think you mentioned 11, but I was like, but 12 and 13. Um, where all of the in this, like even ourselves, when we are going through, I look at like I reached out to a brother locally here this morning, and he mentioned I don't know what end up. I say yeah, it's only divine intervention. So I'm like God, yeah, because like right now everything not going right for me, but I was like don't keep yeah I do keep in mind that God is the only one that can continue to feel me. And it's really, and Kristen, you just mentioned on this, and I was just thinking about over these last couple of months of things that I've just been dealing with. That right now, Carlos, in the beach of I'll say just the nature of mine, just that I know people talk about a lot about meditation outside of the church, but God already have that for us. That's what yeah, Jesus showed in his examples. He needed that yeah, the end up it wasn't all the time he was up there and they're going with the apostles and being with people. He had to end up taking away time to just be just him and God. And God and sometimes with us, we have to not be so afraid. And I know I had to continue to encourage myself that yeah, I need that moment to be myself. Yeah, I may need that moment where my phone don't need to be on, and I just need to be just being able to let me be able to be poured into. Because if I can't help me, and I was sharing this with my mom as well as some other people. If I'm not good, I won't be no earthly good to be able to help you if I'm not up here trying to be and let God continue to hold on me. So so definitely what you all sharing is what we wrestle with all these how but the arm of God. That's what verse 13 was keying in on. We need to end up having that armor of God, and part of that is being able to have our direct communication with God. God speaking to us, we need to speak to him as far as prayer
Yeah.
and make sure that we are not only reading and engaging in his word, but we living out that word as he commands us to. So, so yeah, so those some good points you all were hitting though. Very good.
Mm.
Important to make sure that your cup is full at the end of the day because you can't help anyone.
You can't. That's true.
And I think that's why most of the older people have kind of took their hands off of it.
Mm-hmm.
They're
And I agree with that,
probably,
Kristen.
like you said earlier, they 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 haven't filled their cups either, or sometimes we hard headed. I know it's me. I'm sorry. That was probably just
No,
out
you
there,
good.
but honestly, we are. Some of us are very hard headed in our ways
And that's a part of
to
that
where
weakness
we
that
feel
we
like
Can I bring something that's not really profound because it's been found out, you know, and expressed in multiple songs, but this is really the reality of today. Um, the fact of the matter is, people won't let their storage and cupboard get empty so God can feel it. They're continuing to uphold themselves to a standard with the things that they can place within their quote unquote cupboard spiritually. They're in essence, we as a human race have found a way to dilute our ability to have an immense amount of strength and power because we have stronghold God in our life to only be active and available when we ourselves are dealing with something personal that we feel we need to overcome.
Mm.
When in all actuality, I should be closer to God when things are good because I should be reveling in the fact that I should be close to Him. I should be like Him. I should be more of the spiritual being, having a natural experience. Uh, uh, uh,
Yeah, we want God to act in our lives when we activate Him.
Hey, yeah. Easy button. There we go. We want the easy button of God. And that's profound to me. You were talking about we're okay with using people instead of accepting help. And that's exactly what we do. We use God as a utensil and tool to check our temperature. But we don't ever want to stay hot for
Him.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Nope. We already at 2 hours. I gotta stop.
No, Doc, keep going. Keep going.
All right.
Keep going.
Listen, and I'm saying this with all sincerity. And I'm speaking to the church folk right now. As an indictment. It's been far time out to go ahead and rededicate the movement back to God. It's been far time out. Now it's a charge to rededicate yourself and the people of God back to the standard of being first touched, healed, helped, and led by God, and not you, leaders, not you, individuals. What am I saying? I'm saying this. It's far time out that we stop getting our butts kicked by stuff that God has already overcome.
Oh.
It's far time out for us to steady be tripping up over trivial things that God got back when He took the keys back. Right? It's far time out for us to allow misappropriation and dysfunction to be our calling card to hold power and hold influence. No, it's been past that point. And now the truth of the matter is, if you want my opinion from it, as somebody who hasn't necessarily been that active in the body of Christ, when I say that, in the assembly, let me tell you about what the reputation of the assembly is. It's got absolutely no influence or power over the land, and no influence or power over most of the people of God, and there shouldn't be. Not when you're the authority of God. We've literally become more carnal than the world in some sense, and stepped away from being spiritual. Gotta get that back. Gotta fight the right fight. And in that, it's simple, but it ain't easy.
Well, I saw a post today. That said, you missed the assembly on Sunday. Now you want to take energy from Pastor. You want to take his weekdays from him because you wasn't there to get filled on Sunday. Something like that. it was like you missed. Hold on, let me see if I can find that because I know who posted it. And that's the thing is that the assembly is supposed to be where we get our strength from.
Yeah.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's where we supposed to. That's where the Christian ought to go to recharge because people are alike at that assembly. We're supposed to be the people that we have something in common with, right? This is what the post says. It says your pastor is not your life coach. You can't skip Sundays, then drain their whole week.
Come on.
Ooh. Say it again.
Come on.
Wait, can you send that to me so I can send it to my dad?
Say amen or say ouch.
He needs that one.
Yeah,
Say
on,
amen or
Dad,
say
right?
ouch.
and I'm actually might put that on a t-shirt.
Say amen or say ouch.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
that
Your
one.
pastor is not your life coach. You can't skip Sundays, then drain their whole week.
No, but like I really need you to send it to me. So I can send it to my dad.
And ladies and gentlemen, it has been Growth Group Unplugged.
but
Yeah.
this is now this is where now let's be real with this because we talked about it a few weeks ago how pastors are not pastoring, right? How pastors are not being. I saw another post today that said at some point pastors need to get saved too.
Well, now
Now it's been Growth
Yeah.
Group Unplugged.
That's yep.
So
Same place, same grace, same space. Amen.
Yeah.
so
They coming for
so
the neck, the Christ. Like, they coming for
Right here, Trent.
so
Right
they're
That should
applying
be a
pressure.
whole
They're applying
different
pressure to
topic.
everybody, huh?
That should be a whole nother topic.
Yeah, that they're applying pressure to everybody. So what I'm saying is, if men of God be men of God, then you as the children, as the people of God, because we're all the people of God, but our assignments are different. So me as the man of God, or us as men of God, as the saints of God, we ought to be in a place of discernment to be able to identify those men of God who God anointed and appointed. To know that if this is the assembly that you are identified with, you know that I'm gonna go get fed and refilled and recharged from the assembly because I've attached myself, I've joined this right assembly for my assignment in this season. So then at that point, there's no reason for me not to make the assembly because I've already used the spirit of discernment to know that I am where God has assigned for me to be and partner with this particular ministry so that we can do some good in the kingdom. The problem is we are at churches based on affiliation and association
here we go.
with no discernment. This is my family church. No discernment. Oh, my friend invited me. And they got a lot of singles at this church, so I might be able to find a spouse. No discernment. Oh, well, this is the church closest to my house. No discernment. Oh, they got a good youth ministry. No discernment. Because I get to dump my kids in the children's church and I get a break. No discernment.
Ouch.
Are you hearing everything the way it's being put out there? Whenever it is about your benefit and not about the benefit of the kingdom, you're not aligned in the right place or for the right purpose.
Let me do it like this. When it's about the benefit and not the blessing.
Hello.
Because a lot of times we take blessings and we think the blessings are for us. We're not blessed for our own sake.
No.
We're blessed for the glory of God. We're blessed for the kingdom. So we want the benefit, selfish versus the blessing, distributive, community.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody can eat.
Yeah.
When the people have been following Jesus,
Come on.
The disciples said, Lord, it's getting late. We need to send them home so they can go eat. Jesus said, they done been here all day. They done been with us all this time. If we send them home, some may not even make it home because they're going to faint. You feed them. We're going to feed them. We try to dismiss our assignment.
Oh my God.
So that we don't have to move. They said, Jesus, let's send them. It's getting late, Jesus. Let's send them home so they can go eat.
No.
Instead of saying, Lord, we with you. That's the blessing. So let's bless them.
Oh.
That's what how I learned to
How do
take
we
the
our
lesson.
strength in our humanity? Y'all come here, saints. Y'all come here, child of God. Realize that there's a strength in you so that we can be a strength to the world.
Huh.
That's
Beautifully
your power.
said.
That's your
That's
power.
real.
Yeah.
We are the light of the world. A city set it on the hill cannot be hid. Do men light a candle and put it under bushel? Ye are the salt of the earth. If the salt has lost its savior, wherewith shall it be salted?
Bright light shining in the very dark world.
That's lost.
That's real. Aye.
Closing remarks.
Before we, y'all ever seen that SpongeBob meme where he's just sitting at the coffee table and he's just like, every growth group, I look stupid, just sitting here like, wow, like,
I'll be oblivious.
Bro.
oh my god.
Closing
Closing
remarks.
remarks.
There like,
Every time my brain just be splattered. Thanks, Carlos.
Between him and Sonny.
Nope.
Actually,
Nope.
it's the
Nope.
group itself.
Oh, y'all can have it.
Trent's like, actually.
The group itself,
It's up there.
actually. Even Kiana
group.
Yo, buddy.
Okay.
I honestly don't think y'all realize how many like what strongholds y'all really broke tonight though. In that. Yeah.
Oh God.
Bless God.
Not just me personally, but I think like somebody else is gonna hear this and just be dumbfounded like me and Trent are. And they'll just be like, oh wait, what? I'm like, oh. It's like
Your job.
they're like spiritual daggers, you know? It's like y'all ain't gotta yell at us every week. Like you ain't gotta be so loud. You ain't gotta be so loud.
All right. I do be yelling. My bad. My bad.
Yelling. But I think I really just want to thank y'all, you know, like
Bless the Lord.
because, and this will be my closing, I don't care, whatever. I think I do take for granted my family in the sense of I don't reach out as much as I should, you know, especially friends, like-minded friends who I know are on the same page, or hell, at least like walking in the same direction, you know. Like I was in an accident literally a week ago and nobody knew. Nobody knew. Literally could have lost my entire life and nobody knew. Everybody will be like, me too. And they'll see my car and they're like, wait, did something happen? And I'm like, oh yeah, definitely almost died. But like, I don't reach out, you know? I see my problems as my own. And I'm one of those people who, it's my circus, it's my monkeys, and I don't want to burden somebody else with that problem. So let me like just hold it in. And if you know me, you really know that to be true.
Like, go to an aquarium or something. Get out of the circus. Like, oh.
I mean, I heard it, and now it's kind of just like, I mean, not my aquarium, not my sharks. Like, either way, you know, it's the same concept. But I think I just really appreciate y'all, you know, like genuinely for always pouring, even though you don't realize you're pouring, you know, especially for somebody who always pours and like gives and has to because that's their occupation, you know, that's their career choice. Like it's refreshing coming into a space where I can just kind of like be poured back into, you know. And I actually am going to the beach this weekend, so my phone will be off and my toes will be in somebody's sand. So I'm excited about that.
Okay. I was worried for a second.
Sand. Water. What? You know what? Y'all really know how to ruin a good moment, don't you?
I was just
Let it be known. Lemonade.
Literally, like every time.
I don't put it past them though. I never put it past them.
Was I the only one that thought that?
Crazy.
Thought what?
Yes.
I ain't gonna let you. Nah. I ain't gonna let you go on the list. We both did that same time.
Thank you, Sonny.
What is Trent, did you catch it? Krista, did you?
Feet in the sand, toes in the sand.
They could have possibly.
That is
what I'm thinking, but I don't know.
That is non-Google.
I just took that literal.
Offline, I want to know what y'all thought I was gonna say because it wasn't that.
Anyway, first
Trend, closing remark.
Even the pastures of goober.
Love my
how do we find strength in our humanity? This is part of it. We're acting.
Hey, y'all, this really how New Heights is, y'all. So
yeah, this is as real as it can.
Wow.
That's all you get. That's what you get. That's all I got.
How do we find strength in our humanity?
Nothing done.
We are human beings and not doers. That's what really took me. We are human beings and not doers. If we would be there for each other, we don't have to do anything for each other, but be. That's as simple as that. It's not easy. Refill your cup so you can pour into someone else, and someone will pour back into you if you allow it. You must allow it. It is almost essential that you do, because even overfilling's bad. As much as an empty cup being empty. So be a human being. You're not a human doer. Be there for somebody. Let somebody be there for you. Lonnie.
Thank you, Trent.
All right.
Lonnie, love, ladies and gentlemen.
All right. I'm gonna keep this short because you all have so many points, and I'm gonna ditto Taylor and everybody say thank you. I would like definitely had some eye openers on this evening. I guess I'm gonna leave out my final point is leaving our office. We are us being the church. We are the church. We do need to come together. I do have that understanding of that yes, being a community. Now, being a community now, I like that saying that you end up sharing earlier, Carlos, about the coming on Sunday, not to drain out the whole week, but that's hopefully the encouragement for me is to continue to not only I come together whenever I come in my community. Sunday starts all off, but it shouldn't end there. And I want to say and find the strength in humanity, building that community. We up here we deal in our communities every day, and that should be an encouragement for us to be able to continue to try to find that strength and not picking out when it's convenient. Because just like what Taylor mentioned earlier, about when we do and yeah, when we have our moments where we are empty, where we see it seem to be empty, still trusting that God still has purpose for us and He can still we need to have sometimes ourselves to recharge. Yes, we do, but don't let it be to the point where we're not trying to end up still working out God's purpose to continue to build in our community and continue to be in our community. So I hope that would end up being my final thoughts and encouragement for that. So appreciate y'all much for that.
Yeah, man. And as we talk about building a community, let's think about what the community is, man. In essence, we're building a kingdom, and
Mhm.
that's what our true purpose is to build a kingdom. Thank you, Lane. Um, Kiki.
First of all, get the petty insignificant thing out the way. Again, because y'all didn't see what I put in the chat. So thank y'all for quoting what I said word for word, bar for bar, and I appreciate it so much.
I caught it,
Taking
Key.
care
I
of
caught
this.
it.
I said I agree, sis. I agree.
Say bar for bar.
Bar for bar. Like, oh, okay. Um, that's first off. Second, I I I want to quote Taylor word for word, bar for bar. Um, that night, y'all got me again. Like, this is the second time y'all done made me cry. Y'all helped me a lot with something, and I couldn't be part of New Heights picture because my bad. That's it. That's it. That's what I mean. Y'all can move and say something. You
Yo.
Kiki, you the folks, sis. You the folks.
Kristen. Kristen, closing remarks.
Was reminded to just take care of myself before just pouring into everybody. Myself, going into nature, doing things that um, just like the stresses of the world. You're not. You're really no good if you can't. You're no good to good to yourself. It's all about self care. Once you're taking care of self care, everything else that you really have to take care of, stress free, a life that I really want to live. And honestly, life is what gets me closer to God. It allows me to feel Him more, and allows me to hear. So, yeah, for
Amen.
tonight's talk, because I needed it.
Bless the Lord. Bless the Lord. My guy.
Yes, sir. Um, Man, tonight turned into a banger. Um,
It was. It slapped.
it sure did. And no, I guess the only thing I can say at the end of something like this is, well, there's a couple things, but I'll say this. Um, the construct of strength looks so different from what it truly is. And I've realized that I myself, who thinks of himself not as a indestructible man, but somebody who's well put together and fortified to a degree, I realize that I'm my strongest when I allow God to have the glory over my life with things that I fail in.
Mm.
And it's lead me to throw myself out there and continue to come short of myself so that he can come through for me. And I've been doing that lately. I've been really, really leaning on the radical faith that I know that he's put inside of me, um, and trying to express it. And tonight was a great reminder, that even though, I go out here and I have reckless abandon with the love I have for God and the love I have for people, um, I still need to go get my regular checkups from God, right?
Mm.
Self care, reset, ground, right? Reroute.
A long time. Yeah.
Absolutely. So just gonna take that and add it to my repertoire. And for those of you that stayed this far and got something out of this conversation, out of this discussion, out of this tootling, if you will, man, I want you to begin to find faith and belief in humanity again, um, but with different eyes, right? Don't look to me as just another vessel that is of flesh and is a mess. Um, but look within first, find your God, and then look at me again. Because truth of the matter is, if we're all doing that, we're going to start looking very familiar to each other, and we're going to be much closer to helping each other along this path, along this journey. They say it's a long and lonely road, but you couldn't be any closer to somebody when you start to really go to where your strength is in humanity, in the deepest of depths and the highest of heights. God's there, and so are others that have already ran that race. So, um, that's my closing remarks. I want to bless God for showing up again, and also bless you, brother. Thank you again, for being the studious leader that you are, and continuing to allow this platform through the multiple technical difficulties and through the multiple, aspects in your life that continue to come at you because you are a lay member. I'm honored to be called your brother, and I'm even more excited, to be somebody who looks to you as a mentor. So keep doing what you're doing, brother. Love you.
Bless you, man. Love you back, man. Um, and thank you, as well for allowing me to lead, man, um, and being willing to submit to leadership, um, that's transparent, but also is going to be transcending. It's going to evolve into something that is going to really, I believe, bless a whole culture of people, um, through your partnerships. Everybody on this platform, you're here for a reason. You're here by intent, not by accident. Um, as we close on tonight, how do we get back to finding our strength in our humanity? Is, um, by taking the burden off of humanity and placing it back in Christianity.
Mm.
Um, Humanity is not the thing that God kept us in. It's the thing that we reverted. That's the thing that we settled for. Um, um, we settled for humanity because we can't walk in Christianity because we feel we have lost faith in it, um, because of the people, not because of Him. Um, and some of us have even lost faith in it because of us, because of ourselves, right? So it's time we really start understanding that we need each other. because God gave us each other. And we need God because he gave us his son. All right. Last thing I got, man, I'm going to close with this. I'll leave you with the words to a very, very powerful song, man. It says, sometimes in our lives, we all have pain. We all have sorrow. But if we are wise, we know that there's always tomorrow. Bill Withers wrote this song. He said, lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long till I'm going to need somebody to lean on. The next clause of the song, he says, please swallow your pride. If I have things you need to borrow, for no one can feel those of your needs that you won't let show. You call me you just call on me, brother, when you need a hand, because we all need somebody to lean on. I just might have a problem that you'll understand. We all need somebody to lean on. Y'all, let that be how we find strength in our own humanity. Because if I have a problem, you just might understand. Lean on one another. Remember, love ain't love until it's shown. So let's get out there and let's love on one another. This has been Growth Group Unplugged for this Tuesday, first Tuesday in September 2022. We love you once again. Happy birthday, happiest of birthdays to Taylor. We love you. You are our sister, our friend, and our queen. We appreciate you. And remember, God is good all the time, and all the time God is good. Have a great rest of the week, everybody. And we'll see you back here next week. Same time, same place, same grace, in the same space. This has been Growth Group Unplugged. Go ahead and snatch out the plug. We out.